Hello, we are here to do part 2 of the Leo full moon. I've been doing a little bit more research and I wanted to have a quick chat to some of you about the energy. So I'll wait for a few people to connect. Now this is going to be a very short and sweet update if the bloomin' technology works during Mercury retrograde. But I do want to have a quick chat to you guys about some of the aspects that's going on at the moment, because there are some things that we do need to keep in mind. Now, you may find your energy is going to become quite angry, quite angry. A lot of it is, especially with the asteroids. I mean, I do tend to find that, many astrologers don't tend to tune into the aspects of the asteroids and the smaller planets. Hi, love. But what you are going to find is that they are actually making very interesting conversational cases at the moment. Now, upon researching it further and really looking at different areas, the one thing you are going to find in the collective is, especially since Aries is in Chiron, and most of the energy this month with the Leo frequency is linking in with Venus in Aries, Lilith in Aries, Juno going retrograde the day before the full moon. The full moon is actually linking back to August. So near the Lionsgate portal, a lot of that energy, when we look at full moon energies, I am doing some updated videos behind the scenes at the moment. So each time I do the new moon and the full moon, I'm going to give you some information tools, and I'll try and link it permanently into each of the videos so that you guys can use those in a comprehension sense. And in theory, when we do look at each moon phase, a full moon is ending a cycle, and you're supposed to sit back and directly look at how far you've come. And for many, I think the deep frustration is, and we do tend to find this spiritually when we're having retrogrades and planets to that degree, from where we were potentially around August last year, some of these things have not come full 360, and there's deep wounds and anger connected to that. Now, many of the planets, of the aspects they're making, masculine frequencies are in a different disposition, but they may be feeling these energies as well. Although the asteroid aspects of Aries, Juno, and others are directly linking in very similar to feminine energies, what we need to understand is collectively for masculines, there can be wounds very much linking into frustration of suppressed intuition, frustrating energies connected to feminine energies in their life, really not leveling up, doing what they need to do. There's deep core wounds. Now, I did write a post, and it's unique. I think when you're getting your psychic downloads, you do tend to really look at the vibration of what you're feeling, and it will link in with all of you guys at a very personal level. So depending on the house Aries falls for you, as I said, most of it is to do with, Aries and Chiron placement, which I mentioned in January videos. So each of you will be looking at it differently, but it's almost like shifting the energy onto you, bloody internet, shifting the energy onto you, where you can physically start looking at where the imbalances are in life. And as I mentioned, there can be a lot of anger, there can be a lot of frustration. What you're going to need to understand is with Lilith, most of those energies will kind of level out by about the end of the month. Moving into the Pisces moon, it will be different, but potentially with Juno going retrograde, it won't ease up till after May. It's not that it's bad, it's more we need to be looking at this time as an assessment state, not that anything is completely cemented. It's a bit like going to court and but you haven't made the decision yet. So that's really how we're going to have to be operating within connections, within partnerships, within contracts, going into it and easing yourself into situations and living in the moment, but very much assessing where it is, but not to cement anything too far. Now, obviously, in all areas of life, we can't do that, but there's deep transformations going on when it does come to the Aries and Chiron energy, Venus and Aries, very Mars fiery energy. And by the time we reach the 16th, Mars is going to be in Capricorn. So, even when you do look at Jupiter at the moment, it's kind of really most of the energy that masculine frequencies will be dealing with is more to do with the Aquarian moon. It's the level up energy, it's the accountability from the past. It's because when we look at the Aquarius energy, Saturn will be going retrograde next month. So the Aquarius moon was kind of like a snippet And then moving into March, what you're going to find is when Saturn goes retrograde, Aquarian energy is all about people, connections, the energies around us, and how we can make our energy and their energy work. And again, as I said, it's really like we're going through an assessment state of shifting puzzle pieces and trying to pull them together to see what's going to work, because there's broken, scattered pieces that are kind of disembodied everywhere. Then with the core wounds with Lilith is a shadow energy. So she is divine feminine's shadow, but she's also the shadow aspect we can go to. And being that it's an Aries, it can be very fiery and very cutting. Now, Aries is like the energy of Medusa scorned after her innocence was taken. So when you put those two energies together, and Juno retrograde in divine feminine energy, it is quite a nasty frequency going on. So you can be very cutting feminines, and those core wounds. And it was interesting. I sat there in a meditation, and I am going to share a song in the community tab, because we do have to be very careful about even speaking lyrics. We can actually get copyrighted. So I'm having to use different ways I can directly communicate my psychic downloads through the songs to you guys. So I'll potentially try and put it underneath the video. And I want you guys to listen to that song if you feel drawn to, and listen to that and embody the song and see where those core wounds are. And that's for masculines or feminines. Now, it is a Hastily song, and it is to do with, really, for a lot of us, be it male or female, the core wounds when it does come to family, when it does come to, our power and our childhood, because really the Leo moon is linking into childhood energies. It can be your nurturer mode. It can be the expectations people are placing on you, especially with the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn. It's that overwhelming frustration of having to be the be-all and end-all, but also where there has potentially been disrespect, lack of loyalty, lack of integrity, and those energies have been coming through. What you're going to find is, with Aries being at the table, it's a bit like the uninvited guest. And again, it is a feminine frequency. So Medusa actually initially did not have the whole snakes on her head. She was innocent, and it was Helios Neptune that did take her and took an aspect of her innocence, which they did actually end up having a child. So it's similar to that energy where you're looking at the frequencies of your wounds and betrayals and hurts and disrespect, lack of integrity. It's also frustration of having to be two energies. Many in the collective will be feeling very, very exhausted. And you're really guided to, during this time, instead of directly reacting, because it can be very aggressive, actually sitting in those wounds, creating gradual healthy boundaries, but healthy boundaries nevertheless, but assessing how the ebbs and flows of those situations are going. So it's a deep time of assessment. You can potentially be pulling the reins back, and it is really going to be pulling carpets out from under people. But we do need to be very mindful that due to those wounds and those frustrations, potentially you could look at some of the things that you've gone through and think to yourself, if it happened to any other person, they probably wouldn't be standing, which is very, very legitimately real. But because of that core wound and the aspects that Aries, Juno, and other planets are making, it is pretty dangerous energy. And I'll just read something that I shared on my Facebook page, which I will share to the psychic page. And it's just food for thought. Okay, Aries versus Black Moon Lilith. Energy with Juno and Libra in transit in astrology. Very powerfully charged energy, quite dominant feminine energy in the sky at the moment. I call this the clash of Medusa syndrome. Some don't know she was pure of soul and was taken by Neptune. And due to that, she could have had some she then could turn people to stone. She was that upset by her innocence being taken that there was that kind of empowered energy, but to the detriment of everything around her. It's like the wrath of the Titans. So coming through where, because of that wound, you could really harm somebody because of the wounds that have been inflicted upon you. And it's almost like somebody coming at you. Have you ever noticed when you're having a really crappy day, people be coming at you, and it's the laws of attraction. It's almost like they're vampires to the honey, where you're having things come at you, and when it's been repetitious patterns and you're attempting to break those cycles, it's this condescending frequency coming through that you're like, aren't you getting, my tone? Aren't you understanding the healthy boundaries? And somehow those boundaries may have been directly disrespected. And so the frequency you could be coming through with can be very harsh, brutal, and Mars war-like. So you do need to be really careful. Now, I'm not saying it's not justified, but with this song, when you look at it, you'll really understand an aspect of what potentially can be going on inside you. And it can be very dangerous, because the way you come across, and it can link into self-sabotage then, because just before the transformative state, the metamorphosis could occur, we're almost, tapping out and saying, look, enough is enough. So we do have to be very mindful of that. This is a transformative state. It will feel between now and May. It will ease up as we go. So with any wounding and any healing and any epiphany moment we have, what we've got to understand is each moon phase is ending a cycle and beginning a new one. So look back to what was happening in August last year and see how far you've come. It's time to take stock. Now, with the Capricorn energy coming through, when Jupiter is energetically more so Capricorn frequency, what you're going to find is you're going to be really, really in your A game when it does come to making these changes. And these changes are going to be redirecting your map. It's where, and journaling is going to be hugely important to actually take stock of your progress, so you can actually keep your eye on the goal and start actually moving some of these ships forward. You're really guided at the moment to have some rest. So try and rest. You may be feeling very fatigued, and I am seeing an imbalance in the yin and yang energy for feminine at the moment, because they are deeply in the 12th house energy, nevertheless with Neptune. So you might, in a frequency sense, feel almost like this is all a delusion. It can't, it can't go on, that you could want to tap out. But you're really guided to at the moment is embody the frequency of being in the present moment. And I tend to do this for myself spiritually when I'm feeling, something isn't matching, taking it for where it stands right now. And then with the downloads that you get and the upgrade you're having, take some time. And as you move into the Pisces moon, you're going to be able to plant those new seeds. Now, those new seeds, very similar to an eclipse, will be a transformative stage. So jot down what you're doing during the Leo moon and see what comes to you. It's a perfect time to clean your house and clear the energy to recharge it and actually bring new frequency back in. So don't look at the current situation of what you're currently dealing with as a permanence, because it's not going to be so, but do very much take stock of, maybe even if it's just at a spiritual growth state, how far you've come. If it's a physical state and there has been movement, take notation of that and actually bless it. Don't be to the point where you're not noting these things, because they are motivation for the soul. But if you are seeing things that you're really frustrated at, that you can directly control, or you want to make a decision based on, and you want to steer the ship forward, you'll see highlighting points for, particular areas in your life, and you'll really be to correct the balance, be trying to focus more on that. Now, the best time to launch that will be during the Pisces moon, but we do need to be mindful that with the nodes changing next month, some of you may already be getting that frequency. With that frequency, what you are going to find is, how do I put it? It's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of technology, a lot of upgrades, a lot of psychic downloads, because again, with it being a Gemini energy, it's a lot of frequency coming through overall. So journaling this year is going to be a perfect way to stay leveled, to actually take stock of what's going on. Geminis are quite social creatures, but at the same time, it's like, maybe looking at those aspects and seeing how, giving too much energy to one area, but not paying attention to things on your side of the fence that are deeply, deeply important. With the Jupiter energy coming through, it's going to help you really shift your focus onto, wow, if I want this to grow, I might need to cut back back here and move my energy here, and really trying to find that balance. And we're going to be fine-tuning those things between now and May. And I'm going through my first Saturn return. Yeah, I feel for you, Mark. Yeah, look, you're going to find there will be pockets that will be going through this really nastily. So definitely I'm seeing Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, Libra, Leo, what's the other sign? Taurus, many collectively, but I do feel pockets through this point are going to have movement and communication, and it's there for healing. But also don't fixate on if for instance you're hearing from people from the past and then they go out again. Don't fixate your mind on it, because this is a huge adjustment for everyone to the point where the flow forward is being corrected. So all of us collectively are going through this. Yeah, and there is a lot of solar plexus energy going on, and that is due to the Leo moon. But again, it is a perfect time to actually clear the energy, to recharge the energy in your home. You know, go through, and even if you have to pace yourself, you know, charge your energy to a point. Hi, Dale. Charge the energy to the point where you can clear the energy in the house. It's a time to just be in the moment and to get to a place where you're not placing expectations on the time frame of your healing. And if it is coming up, be mindful of it, but understand this is a very, very important spiritual process for feminines at the moment, where you are going through a healing state. So it can be very exhausting, very deeply emotional. Just really, really be gentle with yourselves. And it can be waves of energy coming in, waves of aggression, waves of fatigue, you know, where you're looking at things and you might be really angry at yourself that you wanted to achieve certain targets and your energy's been elsewhere. Really spreading your energy so fine to the point it's unmanageable. So, you know, just don't be cross at yourself for it. Take stock, journal, clear your house, do some cleaning, get it to the point where you're, you know, integrating and embodying and preparing for that new energy. Rest if you're needing to, and understand that, you know, that of what we're cycling out of over the next 2 to 3 weeks, you'll see signs and synchronicities of the old energy going, and that will be aspects of yourself as well. And the new coming. Again, with this new energy coming through when it does come to Leo energy, because it's like you get the yin and yang of it. The next 6 months' time, we will have a new moon in Leo, okay? So that's when the new vibration of the old of what you're looking at and what you wanted to correct, if you want to pay that energy some, you know, looking at that and then charging it both with the Pisces moon. And so it's like you get the yin and yang. You get the old doors closing. It hasn't panned out the way we expected. Some have, some haven't, yin and yang. It can be unexpected surprises as well. And then it's the recharged energy moving forward 2 days after of new energy moving towards your new goals, your new empowerment, new ways of looking at situations, and it rolling out, and it'll take 6 months to actually roll over. Yeah, it's major signs, but I am saying due to that, you will find with the themes and the signs that we have been going to, Cancer, Capricorn, Libran, Aries, those ones in a very, very heavy way are having mass transformations happen in their lives. Once we move the nodes, and there are other signs as well, they're the ones that are coming to mind at the moment, they're the ones that are going to have massive shifts happening. And it will be with the people around you. Then the other signs will be obviously Gemini and Sagittarius, and I've got to think of the other energies coming through. I'll bring that to you guys later, but it's going to be pocket integrations of communication and movement and change, and you'll find it will be around June, July. Other energies are going to seep through, but it is shifting the pieces of the puzzle, you know, around at the moment for movement in our lives. So all of us collectively are having it. It's just, you know, in what house it's directly relating to, or if it's your direct zodiac sign. Very fatiguing energy. And I don't know why, but base chakra again. So I'd have to look at what Saturn's doing. Any idea, Mark? I call Mark and he goes, "You're the one who's looking at this now, Yildiz." And I'm like, "Yeah, but Mark, I don't know. Do I have it up here on the, I'll have a look. Let me have a look what it's doing on the 8th. Tap back. Let me look at the chart while I've got you guys there. So we're here in Perth, WA on the 9th already. So we're moving into it. And it's like, oh, here we go. Out with the old and with the new. And I do feel this Mercury retrograde is going to be very unique. I don't feel it's going to be our traditional Mercury retrograde. I think we're too in that flat line energy at the moment where it's coming through, and it's very unique at the moment. I'll say that. I think those of you who have done spiritual work on yourself, you'll be able to really check yourselves. Other people, you'll see them becoming quite distorted and agitated, and that will stuff with you more so. Okay, let's look at the 9th. Let's see if there's any squaring aspects of Saturn. Conjunction Pluto. Oh, God, still. It's 2 degrees. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so something directly may be coming to an end during that time. I kind of figured so. And the nodes are squaring Venus. So, you know, whatever's really stuck and not moving, it's like really, it's going to show it's going to show the imbalance. Now, it can be something vibrationally inside you that does reach that point. And because Lilith is squaring Mars at that point as well, it's like really looking at what we're fighting for, really seeing the deeper meaning of the conflict. It's very singular energy. It's quite unique. It's like both energies are doing things quite polar opposite. Let's bounce back to YouTube. So just food for thought. Any opinions, Mark? Do you wish to share? I'm telling you, Saturn conjunct Pluto at 2 degrees with the Mars energy like that. I did say to my partner, there's a sandpit out the back. I said, I'm going to dig a hole. I'm going to put myself in it. I think I was talking to Giggle. And come get me when this is over, okay? Peace out. We can handle it. Thank you for liking. Okay, if you do feel this is relevant and you do have a friend that potentially is a female, and look, this will affect males as well. So if you're a male and you have somebody that you deal with, and it could be a sister, it could be a mother, and it doesn't have to be that they're a good or a bad person. It's just you could be frustrated with that element where you haven't had that nurturing, that support, and those wounds could be coming up. And it's those wounds in your intuition, in your feminine linking energy, where we're breaking cycles. And it is really like breaking, and I've been talking about this since the energy of the virus was going around, the what do you call it? Coronavirus. It's like breaking a chain. We're really needing to break a chain here. And we do have 8 years of Aries and Chiron, but I do feel this is a pivotal point. So when it does come to these wounds, how we deal with them, not allowing them to navigate us, not allowing them to be the navman of the detriment of our health, and really acknowledging them, but not letting them sabotage us, not letting them be in chastity due to it, and not crucifying people due to it, but creating those healthy boundaries. Oh, I'm sorry, did you think I was that person? That was interesting. Yeah. You don't, yeah, well, a Corona landed in my fridge, and I used to drink it years ago. I'm more of a toffee nose beer drinker. You know, you get the training wheels and then you kind of go up, you know. I would always laugh at friends when they're drinking sweet drinks. My palate has evolved over the years. Not that I'm a large drinker. I prefer green tea or coffee. But yeah, some Pinot Noir on the reds. But these days, not much. Especially during the Pisces energy, guys, be really careful. Don't be drinking. You be careful, because that's 12th house. You want to keep your wits about you. You want to keep hair with your A game. Try and have a little bit of a detox at the moment. You know, eat, drink healthy, nurture yourself. If you need to charge your energy, especially since with Aries and Chiron, it is higher heart, you might feel really like pushed down, on the rocks, pushed down where it's like an overwhelming energy of burden. And where those wounds lie, look where the House of Aries is, plus in romance, it's like expectation and the responsibility of it. It's like wounding connected to your childhood wounds of, look, I'm telling you, it's expectation. A lot of expectation. Manipulation, expectation, responsibility. Love and light. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to go finish cooking. Yeah, don't. Look, I can't say don't. You do what you feel is correct, but from a psychic perspective, it is Neptunian energy. By the time we reach the Pisces moon, it is 12th house, it's your subconscious mind. So if you're already feeling fatigued, but float with water, okay? Get to the point you flush it out. You will need to be on your A game around, the Pisces moon. The Great Conjunction. Yeah. Yeah, it could be. Look, especially with all these aspects with the asteroids and the feminine energies, anything that's going on right now, I do know they've got a summit at the moment, and I think it's in Africa. With the aspects going on, it could be feminines really speaking up. It can be people actually, going to the streets and protesting and things to that degree, because some of these astrology aspects moving further into the month, it really does quite link in, it could even be this moon, I believe, where it does link into 9/11. So it's not so much the dynamic, but it's the frequency, and with all the Mars energy coming through, the inner healing and the balancing of it, it's looking inside, but it's as inside as without. So it's trying to balance the yin and yang in these things and be very mindful. So if you are sensing it's not a good time to go out, trust that. But don't hide, but just trust that intuition right now. It's a bit like full moon. Hospitals be full. Be mindful, because the subconscious mind in a full moon can cause agitation. When I was working in nursing homes, we'd have the sundowners, which are people that are very in their Neptunian energy, walking around, very agitated, can't sleep, need more help with sleep. So just really be mindful of that. Full moons, just be mindful. Not a great time to socialise and, Uncle Bob will be saying something unique and you'll be going, what? And then next thing you know, there's a flaring great argument. Anyway, love and light. Now, tomorrow I do have bookings as well, but I am going to come and start doing earth, air, fire, water for the updates. And if you are wanting a booking, you can go to the link. I'm also creating toolkits. Now, they're going to take a few months, but I'm doing my best to get them done, because I obviously do the zodiac signs per month, the moon energies, but I am reformatting things. So I am creating a package, and it is more for spiritual healing, people going through ascension, as well as keys on the twin flame path and how to actually help you work through the energy of healing. Now, they're not done yet, and I do predominantly do them in the private sessions, but I am creating them so that, you can do that work. And then when you're having sessions with me, we can check in and we can see how you're actually moving forward through those kind of blockages. Anyway, if you do need a booking, you can go to the link. Thank you, Giggle. Thank you, Mark. Love and light, guys, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you tomorrow.